Hey there, I'm Amy.Connell. Welcome to Graced Health, the podcast for women who want simple and grace-filled ways to take care of themselves and enjoy a little chocolate as well. I'm a certified personal trainer and nutrition coach who wants you to know your eating, movement, and body don't have to be perfect. You just need to be able to do what you're called to do. I want to give a special welcome to those who may be watching on YouTube. This is something I'm trying for now. This is also a place where we can see each other, or I guess you can see me if you like to watch things rather than listen, or you can, of course, listen on the Graced Health podcast wherever you listen. Okay, so first of all, the YouTube version is totally unedited. So welcome to all the places where I'm going to mess up, I'm sure. Today's question is part of our Ask the Trainer series, where I answer questions you may have about your eating, movement, or how they work together. And this is one that I get a lot, and that is, well, are potatoes bad for me? And specifically, I think people mean white potatoes, though sometimes all potatoes are lumped into this. We have a lot of different varieties here of potatoes here in the United States. Sometimes we have just the regular white ones, which are the ones that French fries are made out of, coming out of Idaho. Oftentimes we have sweet potatoes. Listeners of this podcast will know that you guys know that I love sweet potatoes. They have so many wonderful qualities to them. There are purple potatoes, which I actually discovered when I was, for a short time, we had a subscription to one of those home-based deliveries, and I can't remember which one it was, maybe HelloFresh or Blue Apron or something like that. And they sent me like these little bitty purple potatoes that were not only purple on the outside, but they were on the inside as well, which was super cool. And then another one is maybe red potatoes. So those have more of a red skin, but they're white inside. And in general, I think potatoes get a really bad rap. The one thing that I want to start off with in answering the question is, are potatoes bad for me? Is first of all, in my opinion, there are no good or bad foods. There are foods that provide more value and more nourishment to our body than others, but we're trying to get away from this concept of shaming ourselves and feeling guilty over eating particular foods. And I think that potatoes are one of these that just really get a bad rap for some reason. Now, why is that? Well, because potatoes are a carbohydrate and they are easily digested. They are a real quick form of starch. And so they can be uploaded into the blood system really quickly. This is not always a bad thing. Sometimes we need that quick energy. Now, potatoes, I'm just going to go with a 6-ounce potato. Potatoes offer a lot of really great value that I don't think that people necessarily recognize. There is about 160 calories for 6 ounces of potatoes. Of course, this is going to vary a little bit based on the type, but in general, that's about what you get. Now, with that, and that's not a whole lot, with that, it's extremely low fat. Of course, we do need to have some healthy dietary fat in our diets, but potatoes don't have that. They have about 4 grams of protein in there. So depending on what your protein needs are and how energetic you are, that will vary. But 4 grams of protein is about the same as like a piece of bread as well. There are about 36 grams of carbs and almost 4 grams of fiber. Now, the other thing that I think is really important to notice or to note is potatoes are a fantastic source of potassium. This is particularly near and dear to my heart because I am a huge, heavy sweater. I live in the Houston, Texas area, and when I walk outside in the middle of summer, it's just game on and I'm sweating. I also sweat a lot when I exercise. I just sweat a lot. And the cellular fluid that we have in our body is a mix of sodium and potassium. So when I sweat a lot, I'm not only sweating out sodium, but I'm also sweating out potassium. And I need to make sure that I am including foods that are high potassium in how I refuel my body. So yes, potatoes are a great source of that. So are bananas. So are kiwis. I mean, there's several different items. Pistachios is another one. But potatoes really do have a lot of benefit. Now, I do uh, recommend that you eat the skins with potatoes because the skin is where a lot of the vitamins and the nutrients are held. Also, when we fry potatoes in oil, you're adding a whole lot of unhealthier fats in there, and you're really increasing the caloric and the fat content. And so that's why, French fries maybe not necessarily the best refueling food, nor potato chips, though I even have on my homepage, I love potato chips because I do. And I wonder if that's because like I sweat so much, and so sometimes I'm craving that potassium. But potatoes are absolutely a great option for a well-balanced meal. Now, I will recommend that when you have them, also have some protein with them and also have some vegetables with them, some green vegetables with them. And when you do that, you're really going to be putting a lot of different things together with a lot of different nutrients, and that will help stick with you for a while. And then the great thing is a lot of times those nutrients will work together and they're uploaded into your system and they're utilized by your body so much better than if you were just to take a potassium pill or take some kind of a supplement that has that in there. I think the best way that we can get our nutrients is straight from the foods in which God provided them. And potatoes are from the ground. I always recommend that the first source of foods that we eat and the primary ones should be those that we recognize and we know where they came from. Potatoes came from the ground. Pistachios came from a tree. Bananas came from a tree. I don't know where kiwis come from. I have to be really honest. But the general rule is, can you recognize the food? Can you identify where it came from? Is it something that God gave us? If so, enjoy it. Potatoes are not a bad food. They are not a bad food. Maybe not as beneficial if they are fried and cut into slices like we see in French fries, but they are not a bad food. Enjoy them. My favorite way of preparing potatoes is to get the red potatoes. I slice them into small chunks that are probably maybe about an inch or so big. And then I put just a little bit of olive oil on them and some salt and oregano. And then I put them in my air fryer for about 20 to 25 minutes, about 380. And then I'll pull it out after a time or two and just kind of shake it up. But those are fantastic. Huge hit with my family. I make them at least once a week. So hopefully you know now that potatoes are not bad for you. I'm so glad you've joined us, and that is all for today. Go out there and have a great day.